this is how bad music has gotten. There are no more ideas left in the world. Da, 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 da. Oh, he sings, he sings. You thought I was just making it up. No, he's singing it. It produces equal amounts of pain and incredulity.
That's a big word. Ooh, this is a good song.
Okay, this is a good song. This is a good song. But I don't know whatever that was, but whoever wrote it, what do they need to do, hon?
Even in my heart.
Whoever wrote that song needs to go and find
a hole and bury themselves in it.
No.
No?
They need to find the time machine to get back to where they were when they first wrote that song. Because they're so influential. Oh no, that's the best I could come up with.
They need
So is this NSYNC or Backstreet?
This is
Backstreet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Some people would be offended if I made that.
Some people would,
Like,
yes.
if I didn't know the distinction.
But that generation who would really care that much is much older now, and they're like my age, and it's like at this point, it's like it's okay.
You're not
so long.
much older. You feel
No,
old?
I think I would have been offended by it if when I was like in high school, and I'd be like, no, get it right, it's in sync, or you know. Also, I took the wrong turn. I'm like totally going a roundabout way where we're going because I was too appalled by that song.
Yeah, I mean,
It threw me
I don't
off my
blame
course.
you. I don't blame you. Would you say that you were almost appalled as Cleveland was at the Cavaliers and
Okay,
LeBron
we're
James
just sidetracking now. We're sidetracking now. We're supposed to be talking about this song. We have to talk about this song. What made like before the song, before the melody even got to that point.
Oh yeah, the chord progression.
It was da da da, and then I knew it was going there, and then we're like, wait.
Well,
is
that
it really gonna go there?
Part of the melody.
And
that's
then
part of the melody.
And then it's the melody and it's the rhythm, right? That's what I learned from you. Sometimes you don't need to know the melody, and then you just have the rhythm, and you know what song it's gonna be.
That's pretty good. Maybe you should do the rhythm module, which is taking me 2 years to write.
And then you can teach this guy how to drive.
The whole time, bad driver. The whole time, my wife could have finished the rhythm module for me.
Topless?
I would definitely sell more than this guy over here. But no, I think the point you're rehashing that I had made before, which it was basically that a melody is two parts. It has a pitch and it has a rhythm. Sometimes you can hear the rhythm and know the rest of the melody because that's half of it. Is that what you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think you would have known that it was and just known from the rhythm without da da da. It was the tonic.
I only went there because my limited knowledge of music. Is it this way? Billings?
Billings is right here.
No, it's the next one. Okay, so I only...
No, we want to go on Beale.
Okay. So I only knew that... I only just guessed that that's what that song was because I don't really know that many songs that is like that.
That starts with the tonic on 1, 2, 3.
And
rest.
I was taught that song. It was like one of the first songs I learned on the piano, so it's kind of like ingrained in me.
That's not the worst. It just kept going, and it kept biting off more parts of that. What song are we singing, by the way? What is the piano song?
I don't know the name.
Heart and Soul. Heart and Soul. That's right.
And
Heart
then you also you just usually have two people playing it. It's like dun 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 dun.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And they come in dun 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 dun.
Yes. We all know. We all are very familiar with that.
Yeah, that's one of the first songs I learned on the piano, so that's why it's like.
I'm still trying to come up with a good, clap back. For
you could literally just clap back.
I need to think of a good clap back. I came up with a really pathetic one.
You could literally clap back.
But yeah, what do you think that the people want to hear about in this Cruisin episode?
You could talk about I think you could talk about Mel.
A month from now, there's a special event. Radiohead's coming to town. Or were you thinking of something else?
I was thinking of something else, but that's fine too.
Yeah, Radiohead's coming to town July 28th and 29th, I think. Yeah. And my wife signed on to our neighbor's Wi-Fi. They're good friends of ours. And I signed on to our Wi-Fi so that the two of us wouldn't screw up each other's mojo for buying tickets. And it worked out. It worked out. Do you know where you are?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Just gotta concentrate on driving. But I'm very excited for the show. Ellen, the only time you have seen Radiohead was that time at the Shrine Auditorium.
Twice. And one at Outside Land.
Oh, Outside Lands. Okay, yeah, that counts. That was more of like this festival atmosphere. They played a really subdued set. So I didn't find that one particularly memorable. But it was cool because we were with my brother. But yeah, that Shrine Auditorium show, that was special, right?
That was really cool.
Yeah, seeing Weird Fishes live. How about that? That was amazing.
Oh, so great. Okay.
I was very fortunate to have snagged a couple tickets at the Berkeley shows as well. And last year they played two amazing back-to-backs. Fake Plastic Trees Melted My Face, the new version of Fake Plastic Trees. And then I think it was the other set where they went from like Pyramid Song to videotape, or the other way around. It just like sent me into a wormhole. That was amazing. But I'm very much looking forward to these shows in July. Who knows what they'll play? I haven't really been looking at set lists from the Radiohead shows. Or no, Radiohead hasn't been touring. It's just been Tom York and Nigel. I haven't been looking too much at those set lists either. But we're at our destination, and before we close the video, I was thinking about maybe having Ellen be my camera woman at the Radiohead gigs, and maybe going around and talking to people and see if they want to be on the channel. But Champion, peacing out.
Jump in.
Okay, so we just got out of the liquor store, which, by the way, in Massachusetts, they only sell liquor at liquor stores. Versus anywhere, like it should be.
What does anywhere mean? You need to clarify, because
like, at a preschool, at church.
People don't do that. At church, people probably serve alcohol.
No, I'm just hating because, this is one of those things California does right, which is like, you can get liquor, beer, wine, hard alcohol, like, at a normal convenience store or supermarket. Here, you go to a Stop and Shop, or you go to
Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's, yeah, Wegmans, Whole Foods. They don't have that stuff. It's kind of crazy to me. Or like very few in the state have
Costco.
Have them. Anyway, these are old laws that some politicians want to try and change. But let's not get into politics. That's more for Facebook. No, that's a terrible form for politics. This is why I stopped doing that so often. But anyway, before I get myself into trouble there, you were trying to bring something up about the melody from before and talking about how it relates to rhythm. So Ellen and I, a little backstory is that Ellen and I, sometimes when we get ready for bed, I shower and she'll be, you know, brushing her teeth or something like that. And how did this come up?
So you were trying to, either I was trying to tell you something, we're trying to communicate with each other.
We're trying to
one
communicate.
of us were gargling.
But I was gargling.
Or brushing
I
teeth
was
or something.
I was gargling, and you know, I wanted to communicate with her, but I wanted to make sure I got my full gargle. You know, you can't interrupt that, because otherwise, you know, you get cavities and stuff. So during the gargle, I was trying to communicate with Ellen, and we've done this a lot of different ways. You know, I've done like and have her like guess and figure out what I'm saying. But one time we were doing it with music, and I went, what did I do? And you knew it was
Jingle bells.
Jingle bells, right? So that kind of answers the thing that we were bringing up earlier, that idea that melodies have a pitch component and a rhythm component. So if you learn melody primarily through note names or through scale degrees or solfege, you're learning half of what a melody is. You turned too early, huh? The bridge is after Panera.
I could have turned the other way, but it's fine. I know where I'm going.
You do?
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you learn about melody through note names or scale degrees or solfege, that's really half of what a melody is. It's good to focus solely on that if you're learning relative pitch, but to really understand a whole melody, which is vital if you're going to play a song by ear, you need to not only hear the pitch relationships, right? The low, the high, the notes that stay the same, melodies align, WARRENMUSIC series, melody module. But you also need to understand the relationships between the events in the flow of time. And that's where the rhythm module's gonna come in. But anyway, that was the creepiest, like,
subtle voice,
most rapey plug I could have possibly done there for the rhythm module. But this is the happiest I've been talking about the rhythm module, because I just try to keep very, very silent about it, because like I'm like George R.R. Martin and the Winds of Winter. I have gone into complete shameful, like, hiding with this monkey on my back, like soul crushing struggle. And a few days ago I actually read an intro of a book, just the acknowledgments part of the book. It's called On Food and Cooking. And I felt like, oh man, this guy totally gets where I'm at. Like, I used to think of myself as like George R.R. Martin, which is a little pretentious. But the guy who wrote On Food and Cooking spent this whole acknowledgement section talking about how he couldn't do it without the people in his life, and various people who, like, publishers, editors, and things like that. And I realized that's why this is so freaking hard. I'm trying to do this thing in this video series, and I haven't really, you know, gotten or asked for help, you know. So it's a struggle. It's a struggle. It doesn't mean that you know, I'm gonna start changing my process totally for writing, but you know, it just kind of made me appreciate again, like, it's tough, and like I've even felt like, you know, pretty down about it at times, but you know, try to keep it pretty light on the channel. It'll be announced when it's announced, let's just say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No one's focused on not letting us die. But, yeah, was that what you wanted to say about the Jingle Bells thing? You wanted me to...
Well, I think it kind of opened my mind a little bit. I know it's a really easy song to figure out, but I think you sang also another song. No. It wasn't a song. It was like... It was like... It was like something that was like...
That's the opposite.
You were
part
trying to
of,
tell me something, and then it was like bump, 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 bump. It's like, oh, what are the things, like, what words have syllables like that?
Yes.
And what are things that are said like that?
Yes.
And it was like, oh wow, I didn't realize how
much of
rhythm, is rhythm. And which makes sense because when
I don't remember that, but go ahead, keep making your point.
When students are learning how to read, there's a term for it that I totally forgot, but it's like learning how to pause for commas and learning how to use how to stop for
phonemic awareness.
No, that's sounds. It's what is it? It's shoot. I just did a presentation on this.
You'll think of it.
But it's like the intonation and the inflection and learning how to do that, and that part is a huge part in reading fluency.
For English, you mean? Because not all languages are tonal or have a tonal component, like Japanese.
It's not about tones. It's about reading with like, if there's an exclamation mark, if there's a question, if it's a question, if it's exciting. It's like you wouldn't read a sentence like, yesterday I went swimming and a shark bit off my arm. Like, that's not how you would read that, right? You would read it with some kind of like emotional component, which would kind of
translates to intonation.
Kind of, yeah. There's a word for it though that I don't remember.
I don't
but
know.
we're
I'm sorry,
this is
I don't know what
it's
you're
okay.
talking
You don't
about.
need to. Yeah.
Are you looking it up now?
You can keep talking about your other points. I'm gonna find it.
Well, the thing that you had mentioned, everybody's gone now. But
okay.
The thing that you were mentioning before is like another time while I was gargling and I really wanted to communicate. So I tend to really want to communicate often until I get tired of myself, which is coming up soon. But basically, I was trying to communicate while gargling, and this meant that I was unable to pronounce syllables and vowels for that matter. So all I had was pitch. So this is the other side of a melody. It's like a melody is pitch and rhythm, right? I did have pitch, and I used something like something that we say often, and I used the pitches of that until she figured it out, and I did it, 2 or 3 syllables at a time. And
it's called
fun.
Prosody.
What the hell? What? Can you spell that?
Prosody.
Is that a word?
It's one of the building blocks of reading
Can you
fluency.
define prosody?
The patterns of rhythm and sound used in poetry. The translator is not obliged to produce the prosody of the original.
So they say rhythm and sound.
Using...
What is that sound referring to? Is that the pitch, the tone?
In linguistics, prosody is concerned with those elements of speech that are not individual phonemic segments, but are properties of syllables and larger units of speech. So it's the counting aspects of words.
What? Continue. I don't understand still.
Do you want me to read it?
Yes.
It? In linguistics, prosody is concerned with those elements of speech that are not individual phonemic segments, which is our vowels and consonants. It's not about that. It's not about the sounds. It's not about the ah, eh, ah. It's not about that. But it's about the syllables and the larger units of speech.
But it's, as we're talking about music, this is not relevant because it's saying properties of syllables and larger units of speech. What are the properties of syllables? It doesn't define what properties are. What's a property of a syllable? It doesn't say anything about rhythm there.
No, it doesn't.
Sorry, I'm being an asshole and a skeptic.
No, it's okay. It's too much to go into. This is not.
This is not Ellen music. This is not.
Sorry.
Ellen prosody.
My bad. Turn the camera to you.
I'm kidding. I'm being an asshole. I have to be nice to you.
It's okay.
It's my channel, but I don't have to be, mean to you.
Eh.
Oh, I'm gonna be in trouble later. No, just kidding. We have a great relationship, especially after the Warriors won the championship. We're doing great. Doing great. Keep crying, LeBron.
LeBron ain't crying. He's going to LA.
He's going to LA? You think he's going to LA? Nah, man. He don't want none of that quinoa.
He already eats that stuff.
Yoga pants. He don't want none of that.
He already has all that.
I think LeBron somehow he's gonna end up in San Antonio. He always speaks highly of Greg Popovich. All right, peace out.